This week is the Battle of the Keystone State between the Steelers and the Eagles. The Battle of Pennsylvania. Both teams have outstanding records, with the Steelers at 10-3, the Eagles at 11-2. How do you view these teams going into the playoffs and into this game, actually?
Yeah, so going just thinking about how these teams and how I've been betting these teams throughout the year. I've just been completely wrong about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Before the year,
Mm,
I bet them under 8.5 wins. That lost a few weeks ago because now they're at 10. And I've been
mm,
trying to fade them in individual games, and it just hasn't worked out. I mean, it was just even like most recently, I bet the Bengals 2 weeks ago against the Steelers, and the Steelers go out, score 44 points, win as an underdog. So Steelers is a team that I feel like I've gotten them so wrong this year, but I'm also kind of stubborn as I don't really think they're a Super Bowl contender like a lot of people might make them out to be. They rely too much on Russell Wilson deep passes on third down, and in the playoffs, I don't think that's sustainable. They get so lucky, it seems like, on special teams, whether it's long returns or the opposing team, like Justin Tucker or Hopkins last week for the Browns, just missing field goals in Pittsburgh when field goal defense, that's not a thing that happens. It's just kind of the luck of the draw on who your kicker is that week. And then defensively, I know there's some big stars on the team, some good pass rushers, notably T.J. Watt. I feel like it's a defense that is a little vulnerable in the run game, which could be an issue against the Eagles this week, and a defense that when they've had to step up in class against better offenses has struggled. So I just don't think the way the Steelers are winning is not sustainable, and there'll be spots to fade them, especially in the playoffs. And then the Eagles are a weird team for me. I know they've won 9 straight, 11-2. Everything seems good in Philly, but then you look at the stuff this week where AJ Brown isn't happy with Jalen Hurts in the passing game, and all the drama that kind of is surrounding the Eagles this week, despite having such a good record at 11-2. I kind of agree with AJ Brown. When I watch the Eagles offense, it just feels like there's something lacking in their passing game, and their offense is really relying on Saquon Barkley, and he's been amazing this season. He's threatening to break the single season rushing record, rushing yard record. So, I mean, Barkley is carrying them. This is probably a good matchup for Barkley against the Steelers' run defense, but there's definitely some concern about Philly maybe in a playoff game if they are trailing and if Jalen Hurts as a drop back passer will have success. But what I really like about Philly and why I think that they could definitely make the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl is this defense. They drafted a lot of young cornerbacks in the draft. Quinion Mitchell from Toledo, Cooper Jean from Iowa, and they're really starting to play well. The front's starting to play a lot better with Vic Fangio, a defensive coordinator I respect a lot. So I do think Philly, this team, even though there is definitely a big flaw maybe in their passing game, they can get by with their run game and now this defense that's really emerged throughout the season.
The Eagles are a 5-point favorite with a total of 42.5. How are you planning to attack this game?
Yeah, so I'm not going to go to his side. I'm going to go towards the total. I'm going to isolate this for just the first half and take the first half under at 21 and a half. I mentioned some of the Eagles' offensive struggles. It's been really ugly for Philly early in games. It's amazing. They've played 13 games this season, and they've only scored 17 points in the first quarter combined. They just got off to slow starts. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the script isn't good. Maybe Nick Sirianni, who I kind of question as a offensive mind, has too much of a say in what goes on in the opening script, and they struggle, and then they make adjustments and feed Saquon Barkley, and he wears down defenses. But the Eagles are just struggling to score early in games. And on the other side, and a reason I kind of like the Eagles side if I had to bet this game is it looks like George Pickens is not going to play in this game. He's the star wide receiver for the Steelers, and he's a great deep threat. And Russell Wilson loves to throw deep down the field. So if Pickens is not there, it might be Russell Wilson throwing to much lesser receivers like Mike Williams, who's not the same Mike Williams before his multiple knee injuries. And I just don't think that style is going to work against an Eagles secondary that's playing really well. I think Pittsburgh's going to try to run, play really methodically, chew clock, which suits the under. And I'm just expecting a slow start from this game from both offenses. So under 21 and a half first half in the Battle of the Keystone State.